All right, hello everyone, hello YouTube. This is another verbal bitch slap from Mango Thunderslice to the cheerleaders of science who pretend to know everything about the universe and everything about the world, and nobody feels comfortable enough to check these people on their bullshit that they're constantly spewing. So here's another one today, and it's called Overpopulation is a Myth. That's right, overpopulation is a myth. This is a big thing for a lot of people. Always, oh, the world's so overpopulated, and if only we had less people, the world would be a better place. It's just this misanthropic worldview. Misanthropic is a word for people who just are always so negative about the human species. Oh, humans are evil, humans are disgusting, humans are, and I get so tired of it because human beings are wonderful, beautiful things, and our role in this universe is to be gardeners of this planet. We have such a beautiful space to live in on this planet, and life is a miracle, and we should be celebrating it every single time. We should not be, oh yeah, it's so sad, and so, oh yeah, there's too many people. Well, here's the thing. Overpopulation was created by a British economist named Thomas Malthus. This dumbass. Okay, so back in 1798, he did some basic math, and he noticed that food production was increasing arithmetically, and the population was expanding exponentially. And he said, well, now if I draw these lines, well, it looks like there's way more people than food. And this is his very scientific worldview that is the underpinning, the basis of all the overpopulation nonsense that people are always babbling about. And so, yeah, they predicted back then that there would be massive food shortages and people would just be dying of famine. And of course, it hasn't happened. There are people starving on this planet, and it's very sad, but it ultimately has absolutely nothing at all to do with a lack of food production. We pay farmers not to grow food in the United States because there otherwise would be so much food that it would lower the prices beneath the comfort range of the agriculture producers. So there's not a shortage of food. There's not gonna be a shortage of food, especially as technology allows us to produce more food with less land and with automation, machines, tractors, and now they're making robotic tractors. It takes less and less people to make a vast amount of food, okay? And ultimately all the people in the world, all 7 billion plus people, could live with a home and a family comfortably on their own little plot of land, all of them in a piece of land the size of Texas, which is a big state, but compared to the world, it's not very big. Okay, so I mean, anybody who's taken an airplane flight from New York to San Francisco or vice versa, there's a lot of space out there, right? There's a whole lot of space that nobody's living, or very few people are living. And they want to say, it's always the people who live in cities, in dense urban environments who are saying, oh, there's too many people, there's too many people. Well, maybe you should get the hell out of the city for a little while and realize that there's plenty of land. We can have tens and tens more billions of people on this planet and still all be comfortably, existing with a nice amount of space, have plenty of food, because we're not just consumers, okay? We're producers, and humans produce, they give back to the world. Well, at least in theory. We've got a very consumerist society where that doesn't seem to be happening as much. But, this is the thing. They make all these prescriptions, kind of like global warming. Well, if we take this trend and we just draw this line way 100 years into the future, and all these terrible things will happen if current trends continue, never mind the fact that current trends never continue. That's the nature of something that's very important to the universe called, what was it called? Change. That's right, change happens. Okay, so people adapt to their environment. If there was a shortage of food, I think people would grow more food. That's what I would do in that situation. I don't think that I'm totally unique in that appraisal, okay? So, people are, what's really pernicious about this overpopulation myth is that when tragedies happen and wars happen and famines happen, there's really this subconscious kind of thing going on in people's mindsets where they're just like, oh, well, there were too many people anyway. And people are so cynical about the human race that they're unwilling to even take steps to better the situation on this planet, because they just, oh well, the sun's gonna explode one day anyway, and humans are evil, they're overpopulated, so we might as well die. These people who think that overpopulation is really the death of this planet and a very bad thing, and this negative influence, you know what the real negative influence is, and something that will kill the planet if left unchecked? It's the mentality that is so negative about the human race that makes an individual unwilling to actually help other people and to actually put forth their own energy to benefit the world, because they're so depressed about overpopulation and global warming and all these completely asinine, made-up aspects of science today. Okay, so this is really, I'm coming from a place of positivity. I want people to understand that there is no overpopulation problem. In fact, the world population is now declining. And what happens is, in developed countries, as people become more wealthy, they have more choices and sovereignty in their lives, in order to, buy what they want, live as they want. You know what they end up doing, on average, statistically, is they have less children. Look at Japan. They got a fertility rate of 1.2, so basically the population is shrinking. All right, and same thing with a lot of the European countries and even the United States. Now is the population, it was exponential, right? But now it's tapering off, okay? Things don't just rocket exponentially into the stratosphere, whether it's global warming or population or anything. Trends, they might go hyperbolic, but you know what that's a part of? It's a part of a bell curve. Okay, it rockets upward and then it peaks and then it comes down, because as the world gets more developed, more people will make the same decisions that people in the developed world will, and there will be less fertility rates, and eventually the global population is expected to start declining in about 25 years. Okay, so, that's kind of just the mathematical aspect, why we have plenty of food, we pay people not to grow it in the United States, there's plenty of land. If you've ever taken a plane over the flyover zone of the United States, you realize there's plenty of land. With farming technology, we can turn deserts into paradises if only we have the will and the instinct to go and do those things. But there's another aspect of it that's very interesting, especially for the cheerleaders of science, who are usually pretty pro-government as well, is that things like Social Security, right, and all these social benefits, these Ponzi schemes, these pyramid schemes that have been set up over the last 100 years as part of the New Deal and all this progressivism nonsense, is that all of those programs rely on an ever-increasing population, okay? What is Social Security? It's the young workers paying the retirement benefits for the old people. Okay, that works great for a time if there's way more young people than old people. But now we've got all these baby boomers, and they're retiring, and they're getting old, and there's the young people are having less kids, so the fertility rate is declining as the median age of the population is increasing. So you're going to have all these old saggy people taking all the benefits and nobody to work to actually pay for it. There's no way that can continue, and this demographic change is actually ultimately what's going to unravel the welfare state. It's mathematical, certainty that you can't continue like that. The whole pyramid scheme only works if you have more and more young people having babies. So that's it. Overpopulation is a myth. I want you to take away from this that human life is a beautiful thing. We should celebrate every new incarnation of it. And we shouldn't be crying and whining about things, even if overpopulation was a problem. What are you going to do about it? Go and what, be a dictator, work for the government and kill a bunch of people? Don't worry about the whole human species. Focus on improving your own lot, okay? Building your own space and making that supportive, not just for your own life, but for the people around you. Grow your own food, live in harmony with the land and with nature. That is really what's going to change the world for the better, whether we're overpopulated or not. So, wholeness and balanced vibrations, everyone. Remember that life is a miracle and it's to be celebrated. And, you are a wonderful person. Even if you completely disagree with me, you think I'm a total just ginger fucking moron and that everything that comes out of my mouth is stupid, the fact is you are still a miracle. Your body is a miracle, and there's so many things happening all the time that are just absolutely wonderful. And I think we would be better off if we acknowledge that a little more than whining about overpopulation. So cheers, everybody. Have a great day.